These moments define who we are. Here at BD, we innovate and engineer gear for people who live for these moments.
Barn to Feed is committed to the single, simple goal of creating the world's best wool socks by exclusively using an all-American recipe, U.S. materials, U.S. manufacturing, and U.S. workers.
When you're walking and hiking on back roads and streets, make sure the socks you're wearing are Farm to Feed.
Because the climb up is as important as the turns on the way down. Fritschi Bindings combines state-of-the-art innovation with Swiss engineering to deliver the optimal ski touring binding.
So food is very personal. Probably the best food you can bring with you is whatever you're going to eat. My food tastes change all the time, but basically whatever you're going to eat is going to be the right food for you. There's a million different things you can pack. These are just a few of the variety, but I like to have them in my pockets and just have a program of grazing throughout the day rather than stopping and having a huge meal. I like to think of food for backcountry skiing as an analogy would be building a fire. You have to kind of build up some energy. You want to keep the fire going. You don't want to have it die down too much. You don't want to have it too roaring hot and wasting a lot of fuel. You just want to have the right amount of energy to keep you going for a full day of backcountry skiing. Whether it's a long high energy day or whether it's kind of a mellow cruiser picnic day or whether you're out on an expedition, all of these things are slightly different. But you want to build up that fire and keep it going. Add that into your pacing, your travel plan, what the weather conditions are going to be like, and how much you think you're going to exert during the day. Once you get that fire going, you really need to maintain it with stuff like bagels and cheese and just basic good solid foods. And that really, I think, gives you a nice smooth power curve rather than very spiky. I think it's pretty tough if you're just relying on the energy gels and things like that, because you have one, you have a big spike in energy and then it drops down, and then you have another and it drops down. But for me, I found that it's better just to get the fire going and then consume normal food along the way. Wake up and have a good breakfast, starting with bacon, of course, and you build up a good supply of energy. Then during the day, what I like to do is just kind of nibble or graze. So I keep food tucked away in my pockets whenever I'm at a transition for something like, ripping skins off, spreading out, waiting for your partners. I'll just have a couple of bites of food. I do a lot of water, just mainly water, but occasionally I'll add some mix to it, like a Gatorade type mix. I'm really into these nuns because you can eat them just raw if you need a quick burst of energy. I also like having a really simple water bottle. You can spend $1 million on a diamond encrusted titanium water bottle nowadays. Drink your water and get rid of it. You can crush them up and it makes less room in your pack. And if you lose them, it's no big deal. I think it's important to have something warm to eat or drink, because if you're really chilly, the last thing you want to do is glug down a really cold drink of water. I use these rather than the thermos. This is just a really basic insulator. You take whatever it is, you plug it in there. Bringing a stove with you in the backcountry is an excellent, excellent insurance policy. There are a lot of really small, lightweight ones like these canister stoves. They'll boil water in a minute or 2 minutes. It can really improve morale if you're out on a really cold, windy day and you find a spot to stop and post up and melt some snow and make a good hot drink. They're not great for cooking big meals, but if you want to make a hot cup of tea or some soups, I really like these miso soups. They've got a lot of seaweed in them, important ingredient for backcountry skiing, and they also have a lot of salt. Salt keeps you from cramping. And there's lots of different minerals or additives or supplements that you can take, but the basic thing that I do if I'm going out is to bring some sort of salt tablets, miso soup, some really salty food with me. That seems to help quite a bit. On expeditions, I think the important part is to be really well rested and also really well fed. Sometimes people bring just the lightest possible food, like freeze-dried I like to go for winter camping the other direction and bring really heavy food.
Bar, the liquor store is open.
I'll bring all sorts of meat. I'll bring pasta. I like really good food that you can spend a lot of time fixing and making, because you spend a lot of time just waiting for the right conditions. You're cold, you're hanging out in a tent. It really helps to eat a lot of good food such that when the weather finally clears, you're 100% ready to go. You're fully tanked up, you're well rested. Plus, then I bring along a supplement of lighter weight food, say some freeze-dried food, so if you need to go out for a 1 or 2 day excursion, you've still got that option with you. So I like to keep a little emergency stash with me, generally good high quality chocolate. I keep it in a separate place, so if we run out of food, or if somebody gets injured, or if we're benighted, you've got something that's really good and fun to eat and kind of a treat in a miserable situation.
When you're walking and hiking on back roads and streets, make sure the socks you're wearing are farm